Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. Welcome. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVi, and I lead schools Eye on the Valley. Our show, Eye on the Valley, is brought to you, as I said, by SCVi and I Lead Schools. We are a network of charter schools with campuses in Castaic, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've got a fully accredited online school. In fact, that online school is just exploding. We had another informational night last night, and enrollment is through the roof. Kind of like our homeschool program as well, I Lead Exploration. You know, I often get questions about charter schools and how much does it cost to go to a charter school? And nope, when you think charter, think public. We are public charter schools, completely tuition free, and we've got an option for whatever it is your kid needs. We've got, like I said, classroom-based charters here in Santa Clarita, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've got online school, homeschool. We've got hybrid. So we've got everything from full home study, classroom-based, everywhere in between. Visit us at ileadschools.org for more information on any of our schools. That is ileadschools.org. And yeah, just go ahead and click around and explore. We've got our eye on education right here in Santa Clarita, across the LA County and across the nation. But like our show says, we like to keep our eye on the Valley as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what's what here in the Valley. And we try to do so while putting a little smile on your face, because it's Friday morning. We're all kind of relaxing a little bit. We've got our Friday casual duds on and just kind of sliding into the weekend. So yeah, let's do this together. Hey, we are getting close. Can you feel it? Can you feel it in the air? We are heading into the best time of the year. Absolutely. No, I'm not talking about spring. I'm talking about March Madness. March Madness is coming, isn't it, Engineer Andrew? It is coming. Conference tournaments are starting this week, with the national tournament starting in less than 2 weeks. I am so pumped. You know, little known fact, you know, there's a misconception out there. I like to bring this up every time March rolls around because not too many people know this. The famous singer Andy Williams, he was actually singing about March Madness when he recorded It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. True story. Absolutely. I am excited. But you know what else I'm excited about is today's show. We've got a great one for you. Coming up in just a minute, we've got Allison Lindeman. Allison is the owner of WSI Internet Consulting and Digital Marketing Services, and she's also the chairwoman of the board of Circle of Hope. And they've got a fantastic event coming up. Allison's here to invite you to one of the most highly anticipated events of the community calendar here in the Valley every year, and it benefits some of those very much in need. So we'll talk all about it here in just a second. And then in hour number 2, we've got the directors of SCVi Charter School. SCVi is iLead's founding school, operating here in Santa Clarita for 16 years now. I was just talking to the girl at Starbucks this morning, and she says, "What do you do for a living?" And then that turned into, "Really? We have a charter school here in Santa Clarita?" Yeah, you need to know about SCVi. They've been doing it since 2008 and doing it well. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about them lately here on Eye on the Valley, and with good reason. I'll be picking the brains of the two directors here in hour number 2, talking about all the exciting things they've got going on this spring and heading into next school year. And then, yes, Big T, he will join us at the end of the show, just like he does every week. That's right. My mom makes me put my stupid brother on the show every week. He's got trivia questions, lots of fun. So it's going to be a great show. Go ahead and pour yourself that second cup of coffee and hang with us for a little while, won't you? Let's do this. As I mentioned, my first guest is the chairwoman of the board of Circle of Hope, Allison Lindeman. She's the owner of WSI Internet Consulting and Digital Marketing Services, where she helps firms with web design and development, internet and social media marketing, search engine optimization, video marketing, so much more. She attended Washington University in St. Louis, is an avid tennis player, and the quintessential community member. Always involved, always giving back, and serving tirelessly as the chairwoman of the board of Circle of Hope. Allison Lindeman, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So glad to have you. So, as I mentioned, the business that you owned, and you do great work, but you're not here to talk about that today.
No, I'm not.
You're here to talk about City of Hope. So let's go ahead and start here. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about, if they don't know City of Hope, tell us a little bit about the history and mission.
So I'm going to correct you right away. It's Circle of Hope.
I keep saying City of Hope,
but everybody does it.
I have Circle of Hope written, and I just can't read.
But you know, City of Hope is one of our valuable partners.
Circle of Hope,
City of Hope, and a lot others. I don't want to exclude anyone in our valley. We have great medical partners. You know, serving the cancer community and a lot of other medical. And we are Circle of Hope.
My apologies.
Sort of the emotional support side of those going through cancer.
Circle of Hope, chairwoman of the board, Circle of Hope. Please forgive me.
Absolutely.
So tell us about Circle of Hope and what your history is, a little bit about your mission.
Sure. So we are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. Wow. So started in 2004. Mm-hmm. At that time, it was exclusively serving the breast cancer community.
Okay.
The founder, Colleen Schaefer, had been diagnosed with metastatic stage 4 breast cancer. Yeah. Still alive and kicking today and part of our organization. So a great example of a survivor. And so when we started again, we were serving the breast cancer community. We went on later to then transition to all cancers, all adults, men and women, any type of cancer in any stage. And that's what today, who our clientele are. And then in 2000, back then also, we were exclusively financial support. So what Colleen had witnessed in the community are people that were struggling to pay, you know, the cost of the aftermath and post-treatment of having cancer. And she experienced some of the challenges with that herself. And so that's why she started Circle of Hope. And then that expanded. It expanded to, like I mentioned, emotional support.
Okay.
That's a more challenging part of recovering and going through, you know, serious illness.
Yeah.
And then in 2017, we opened a center, which is right down the street from here on Lyons Avenue. And expanded our services to education, classes, wellness therapies. And so we have a physical building that has people come in every day, Monday through Friday, attending classes, getting some types of wellness treatments, coming in for support group, book club, other things like that.
Okay. And I do want to talk about all of those services, but yeah, you're right. The need is very real. You know, oftentimes, you know, we will have a friend, a family member, someone we know who lets us know about a cancer diagnosis. It is very devastating, and oftentimes we feel a little helpless, right? We think, oh gosh, you know, my thoughts and prayers, but there's really not much else that we can do. I'm looking at your website here, and Colleen has a quote here. It talks about how survivorship is expensive. And that really caught my heart, right? Because yes, you're struggling with battling cancer and all the physical, the treatment and the emotional stuff that you go through, but it's not a cheap experience.
No, and then the bills come,
right?
And then the bills come, and you may or may not be able to work.
Sure,
you may be limited. You may have retired. You know, so you could have just income struggles that change during that time too.
Yeah, and then the spouse that's taking care of you oftentimes
may have had to take off a leave.
Absolutely. So it can be really challenging, and so gosh, if you're in that situation where you know someone with a cancer diagnosis, there is something that you can do. Thoughts and prayers are very, very important, but there is something that you can do. You can support Circle of Hope and other organizations like them. Allison, you mentioned you know, over the years, Circle of Hope has really grown your services, and you provide a lot of classes. I'm looking at the staff here. You've got an amazing staff. Can you go into a little bit more detail about some of the classes, the therapies, the different services you provide?
And a lot of our staff are volunteers.
Oh, wow.
So we are operating on a very small, you know, paid staff, and obviously a physical building and the rents and utility costs that go with it.
Sure.
And then we have from individual treatment practitioners, you know, that are well trained in their field, and most of them also trained in providing those therapies to specifically people going through cancer.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
our, for example, massage therapist is an oncology massage therapist.
Okay.
We have a Reiki therapist. I won't even be able to remember all of them. One that's related in the chiropractic field, but they are specifically giving those treatments one-on-one. So those are just like going to a spa, you know, or you are in a private room getting one-on-one treatment. And so we have, you know, a number of those available every single month. What actually, I'm deviating a little, but what happens is the last day of the month, it's our phones ring off the hook because that's when we put out our schedule for the next month. It might be a couple days before.
Okay.
And people start calling to book those appointments. They are booked every single time. Absolutely booked up. We also have a lot of group classes, and these bring like people going through cancer together with each other, just to socialize, to get away, to kind of forget some of their challenges, and sometimes to just find commonalities because they're going through things. And or someone might say, oh, I'm 1 year past that treatment. Let me tell you how it went, or the things that I did, why they're making jewelry, doing flower arranging, doing a journaling class, those kind of things, in book clubs. So there's classes all month long and individual treatments.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the list. You've got tons, like you said, book club, drums for healing, acupuncture, all different kinds of stuff. This is fantastic to know that the community going through and dealing with a cancer
has
diagnosis
all this available to them, and a lot don't know. And a key point is FREE. No one pays 1 cent at Circle of Hope, not a penny. If you live in Santa Clarita, if you receive treatment here, if you work here, you qualify. So the only, you know, kind of thing that is limited is our financial aid, and so the more money we can raise, the more of that we can give away. But those go through a qualification process, so we can make sure that they have a true need. Right. You know, we pay for things like second opinions, regardless of that, because we absolutely promote getting second opinions. But our main financial assistance, you know, we try to make sure that those are the families that really need help and hope. But our classes, our treatments, there's no screening. You just come in and sign up so we know that you're kind of joining our membership, so we keep you informed, but you are free to attend all of that. Wow.
What a heartwarming thought to know that that's available here in Santa Clarita, and like you said, completely free. I can understand why you would want to get involved in something like this, but can you tell us about that? How and when did you get involved with Circle of Hope?
Well, you're asking me that, you know, made me give it some thought. I don't even know exactly, you know, the month or year like I stepped in there. When I decided to join the board, but I had a history. Now, I am a cancer survivor myself. It's not so much that, but I also became a caretaker of someone in their mid-40s with stage 4 cancer and 3 kids. Wow. And a single mom. And so I went through that. So I guess being a cancer patient, I know what it's like. I've had, you know, chemo, radiation, surgeries, all that. And then being a caretaker, and the caretakers are also invited to Circle of Hope with their partner in survivorship or on their own. Sometimes the person going through cancer doesn't at this time, maybe aren't ready for support. But their caretaker, their spouse, their child needs it. So some people are there without the person they're supporting. So I feel like I've seen multiple roles myself personally, and then being a caretaker of someone young was you know, really a teacher here in Santa Clarita, as a matter of fact. So I think that's really what drove me to start looking at. I'd already been on boards of other nonprofit. I already was in the nonprofit community. As you know, I was already a business owner trying to make a difference here. And we all should, if we have a business, we should have a plan for giving back. And so it aligned, you know, with things I had experienced. So I went on to the board. I mean, I'm a business consultant, so I know I have something to offer. Because any nonprofit is a business. With a profit and loss statement and marketing goals and financial goals, you know. So I knew I could lend my experience. Then right before COVID, I became a facilitator for the support group. And so it was one of those days that we're just in a board meeting. And usually your board members aren't necessarily providing direct services themselves, right? And at the time, someone had announced in our board meeting, it was on Zoom, that we need another facilitator. And should we look in the medical community? Like, how might we go about, And I felt like somebody was whispering in my ear, oh, that's you. They're talking to you. And my other side's going, they're not talking to you. You don't have time. And that sounds pretty emotional.
Sure.
They're not talking to you. But I'm like, yes, they are. And then someone on the board goes, wow, Allison would be really good with that. And then I go, shoot, I'm in, So,
Been there, yeah.
There's two amazing co-facilitators, Colleen Schaefer, the founder, and Wendy Thrush, who actually was the founder of the support group in her home over a decade ago.
Okay.
So I had great mentors. And 2 months later, we had to shut down our facility. So I had one or two in-person learnings.
Sure.
And then it went virtual. So I was running that for the most part, mostly by myself, not always online. So, and I'm very comfortable online, but it was not the same as being in person with all of them. So I did that for several years. Then all three of us returned, when the center reopened.
Right.
So how I feel very lucky as a chairman of the board running the business side, that I get direct interaction with our clients that we serve. It's in the evening. We have in our facility, we have a beautiful living room. It's a 15-person couch with other chairs, lamps, pictures, just like a living room where we hang out and have our support group. And we're just in there chatting, So I really am able, I feel like, to understand who we're serving, and then as a leader, help make sure that we're moving in the direction that best serves and takes care of those people in our community that need us.
You're doing great work and such important work. Allison Lindeman is the chairwoman of the board of Circle of Hope. They're pulling out all the stops to support patients battling cancer, and next week, they're pulling out the wine to help the fight. When we get back, you'll find out what I mean, and more importantly, how you can participate. Stick around. I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi, and I lead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi, and I lead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm joined this morning by Allison Lindeman, the chairwoman of the board of Circle of Hope. They are in the corner for cancer patients, supporting them in their time of crucial need and beyond, and not just the patients, but their families, their caregivers. Allison, Circle of Hope relies heavily, as you mentioned before, on fundraisers, donations to support the vast majority of the work that you do. I think something like 90% of your funding comes from private support efforts like this. And you keep an active calendar. I love seeing all the different things that y'all are constantly doing. Let's talk really quickly about some of the fun events that you've put on in the past, and then we'll talk about the one you've got coming up. So in the summertime, you celebrate a Hoedown for Hope. What's the Hoedown for Hope?
It's a fun one. We only did a mini version of it, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, which turned out really well. So well that last year we just decided to give it another whirl.
All right.
So we had it last year at Gilcrest Farms.
Oh, that's a fun place.
Very generous, owner, and a beautiful place to have our event. And, just first time trying to get that out in the community, that it truly was a music festival, competing with any other music choices we have here. And that's always, I'd say, if we have a struggle, it's like getting the word out.
Sure.
Because that who doesn't want to go to something like that when you live here?
Right.
You don't have to leave. You don't have to get on the 405 or go downtown. Like you can, and we had 3 bands there last year and a whole other kind of on the farm, a full barbecue dinner. This was kind of last year. We're doing it again, but we had it was all adult. So we had adult fun farm things like archery, axe throwing, cake walk, booze walk, kind of like a throw, kind of like you do in Texas. I mean, I lived in Texas a long time, but you go to festivals and things and you play a lot of these games. So we had game stuff going on, a fun auction. There were horses all over. You could pet all the animals, which is such a fun place. Adults like petting animals too.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
And then when it started to get dark, then the stage illuminated and we had 3 bands playing, so beer and wine, just dancing. It was super fun.
Such a cool event. And then to know that you get to go to an event like that while also supporting such an important cause. And then something similar, supporting Circle of Hope, but a very different event. You have an annual tea event that's part of your 31 Days of Hope.
We do.
Talk to us about that.
So that was started, and again, Colleen Schaefer, the founder, her backyard.
Oh, wow.
So again, this is the 20th annual tea we'll have this October.
Wow.
And so it's always, because our roots came from breast cancer support, we still honor that. And that's why it's in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so it attracts, I'd say, even another group of a crowd and
totally different
very
group of folks,
devoted people to our tea, and we go through the motions of having like a formal tea,
nice,
and talk about, we have usually a speaker. This past October, I brought in 2 of our clients to speak, a gentleman and a woman, kind of represent, and different cancers and different journeys. So, and I thought it went over really well because it let our supporters see and hear the stories of the people that we serve. And I love for them to see, for example, men talking about what support group did for them and coming to classes. And that individual met another gentleman with the exact same cancer through Circle of Hope, and they became really good friends. So they were really lovely, lovely stories. So we honor that, and it's tied again to, like you mentioned, the 31 Days of Hope. And so that kind of companion fundraiser is, we get a lot of support from the community. So a lot of restaurants and retail establishments and realtors. We had quite a few that are willing to give a % of their proceeds either during the month of October or maybe restaurant night. Like, come to this restaurant and we'll give for this day 15% to Circle of Hope. So those go on almost every single day of the month of October. And typically towards the end of October is then when we celebrate our tea.
Okay, so I love those passive ways of giving, because you're going to go out to dinner anyway. You may as well go where they're going to give back to Circle of Hope. Exactly. And then in the summertime, you do a little bowling for hope.
Yeah, so I think we're going to, because we decided to do Hoedown for Hope again this summer, the couple of us that kind of host it and share it, we just really like doing it. So we wanted to try to see if we could pull it off again, because like you said, this is a lot of events to put on. We really have back to back to back. As soon as one ends, it can be tiring, but fun. And we really had fun putting on the Hoedown, and now we kind of got it down, so to speak. So it's not the first time you do one is,
it's a struggle, and how are we going to do this?
And Gilchrist is more than willing to do it again and donate the farm. They were unbelievable in the things they did for us. So we're gonna do it again. We're trying to. They might have a date in June, and that I don't remember what it is, but we're trying to do it as early as we can in the summer because of heat. And we may start it slightly later, just so we don't have to worry about how bad the daytime heat could be. And it's pretty, it's better in June than July and August. So we're pretty excited. We're right now recruiting bands for it. And as you know, we have another event coming up next week. So
let's talk about that. Yeah, because I'm excited about this one. I got my ticket already, and I'm super fired
up. Look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, so this is, like I said, one of the biggest events of the annual calendar. I'm talking about Vine to Wine. Can you tell us a little bit about the Vine to Wine experience?
Sure thing. So it's, next Saturday, March 16th at the beautiful Sand Canyon Country Club. We've been known lately to find different venues.
Yeah, you've been moving around a bit over the years.
And that's kind of fun. It makes it different for us. But we will have, I found out this morning, yet a 16th winery has come forward.
Wow.
So we already finished our schematics and know where everyone's going. So we're going to squeeze in another one because we're happy to do it.
Fantastic.
So we'll have that, and it's mostly wineries, but we have, I think, 3 or 4 breweries.
All right.
So if someone out there is a beer drinker, that's okay. Beer garden for you,
This body was built by beer. Yeah.
And we're going back a little bit. We used to hold these completely outside before my time even, and they were pure and wine tasting. And so we're trying it back this year and not having a formal dinner. where we've been having a formal dinner kind of on and off. So it's all strolling around, praying for no rain because the outside at Sand Canyon is so gorgeous.
Well, I'm looking at my weather app right now, and it says it's going to be low 70s and completely sunny.
That would be the most amazing day
ever. Going to be a perfect day for it.
We have a live band also, and there'll be stations. There'll be stations where you can go around, and this year we have more wineries pouring their own wines.
Okay.
So in some cases you can, meet them and ask them questions and things. Again, or go to beer if that's your choice, or do some of both. And with the price of admission, everything else is covered. So the tastings are covered, the food, it's very heavy apps, past hors d'oeuvres, party, fun kind of scene, a little bit dressy. It's in the evening, that's our event. We have a fantastic auction there. We do auctions well.
All right.
So going into our center right now looks like auction headquarters.
Oh, I bet.
So every time I go in, you see these amazing baskets, getting assembled. So we have maybe 65 or 70 of those. And then we have some live auctions too with trips and fun things.
All right.
So that'll obviously go on there too. So it's a light, enjoyed, social atmosphere, not a lot of talking head stuff.
Sure.
Just more of a
and you
social.
get to mix and mingle and hang with your friends.
Bring your friend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's always can be a frustration when you've got a sit-down event, right? Because, you'll probably be sitting at a table with folks but then you've got your friends over there.
Yeah, so
when can I get up and sneak over?
And if your predictions are right, inside, outside, if you've been in the back there, and on the side,
gorgeous.
It's beautiful. So that if people are going to, so as long as the weather looks great, we will set up part of it with cocktail tables and things outside so people can come in and out.
Fantastic. So again, it's next Saturday, March 16th, Sand Canyon Country Club. The weather's going to be perfect. The venue's going to be perfect. You've got 16 wineries that are going to be pouring. You've got breweries there, and then snacks for people to snack on. And then Allison, you mentioned that you're going to have a live band, and I took a look at your website. I got to tell you, these guys are my absolute favorite. Have you heard Future Ex-Husbands?
Not live.
Okay, so first of all, can we talk about the name of the band?
I know,
Future Ex-Husbands. How hilarious is that? And it's funny, these guys got together before they were married and named themselves the Future Ex-Husbands. And I've seen them actually, my brother and I became pretty much fanboys.
Because they're kind of all over right now.
Yeah. They are. They're playing in a lot of different venues, and I've seen them, probably a dozen times. They do 70s, 80s, 90s, and actually into the 2000s cover songs. They'll do Johnny Cash, David Bowie, Green Day, all kinds of stuff.
We're so excited, and we were so thrilled to secure them.
They are in high demand.
If they want to come to the hoedown too,
hey,
that'll be our immediate thing to start getting
Mix
the bands
it up a little bit.
So that's a really extra treat.
All right,
so that we were able to get them for this event.
Definitely. So looking forward to seeing Future Ex-Husbands out there. Again, next Saturday, March 16th. Although, Allison, I can't help but think that there's somebody out there going, oh gosh, my mother-in-law is coming in town and we got to go to the thing, or I'm going to be out of town or what have you. But I'm really sold on Circle of Hope and all the wonderful things that you're doing for cancer patients. How can folks get involved if they're not able to attend the event?
Well, they can straight up donate. I got to say it. It's not a shame.
Hey, no, there's a donate button on the website for a reason.
So you can donate any amount. We're going to be starting like a local community awareness campaign.
All right.
For our, we call it for now Circle Giving, which we're working on kind of coming up with a jazzy campaign name.
All right.
But just for people that are willing to be committed donors of any amount, and it's a monthly giving. And I think it actually starts at $5. We usually say $10, where they just set it up so that $10 a month is getting contributed to us, or whatever amount, 20, 100, So you can go on our website also under that donate and pick become part of our circle. But we have little promos that we're working on, just to thank people for making Circle of Hope top of mind. I mean, it's obviously a a 501c3, tax deductible, nonprofit, you know, so they can donate that way. We also have on our site where people can sign up to be volunteers for different things.
Okay.
So they get on a list and then they get a communication to say, a lot of times it's events. So our Vine to Wine event normally needs 50, 60 volunteers.
Okay.
And we get it.
Yeah.
And we get them. Our community is amazing. Yeah. So people can give of their time, treasure, or talent.
Sure.
You know, that we have people come forward all the time who do a wellness therapy. They are a practitioner of some kind. Right. That's how we get most of them. They come to us or they walk in our door. We want to help you. Oh. So we're always adding new things and getting in new volunteers that way too.
I love that. You know, it's a great thing to do to give back to a great cause, either to donate or to volunteer or both. Also a great way to set an example for your kids. You know, that was how I got into volunteerism in the community, is by watching my mother, you know, throughout the years and how involved she was. And so if they aren't able to attend the Vine to Wine event, they can donate on the website.
Put the next events on their calendar.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, your calendar's
see how
up
they
there.
want to volunteer, whatever works for them. We're so grateful.
So your website is circleofhopeinc.org.
Correct.
So like incorporated, circleofhopeinc.org. I noticed you've also got a button in the upper right-hand corner, Vine to Wine tickets. You still have tickets available?
Yes. So we're still selling tickets into next week.
Fantastic.
So they can go online and right now buy those tickets.
Terrific. I love that. Again, folks can, do you still have, you're probably booked for volunteers for the Vine to Wine event, or do you still need volunteers?
If there were a couple people, because we just had a few wineries added.
Oh, I see. So now you need to add a couple more volunteers.
We would not turn down a volunteer.
Fantastic. So terrific. Again, it's circleofhopeinc.org. You can donate. You can, oh, look at this. You've got a get involved button where people can sign up to be volunteers. You've got some passive giving. You know, you can attach your Ralph's Club card and then a small portion.
We are getting a couple organizations and hopefully more to come. One's actually a winery.
Oh, great.
There's a winery not located here, but they have a tie here to Santa Clarita. Right. And they have a specific rosé wine that they donate 1% of that proceeds annually to us. Oh. We just received a check. So those kind of things also. Whatever widget that they have or a service, if they're willing to make us a partner, you know, on an annual campaign or even something that it lasts a month.
Fantastic.
That we benefit, and we really appreciate the community of Santa Clarita because we couldn't do this without their support.
Love that. So one more time, Circle of Hope is doing great things to support cancer patients and their families and caregivers in a time of extreme need. As I mentioned, your founder talked about how survivorship is expensive and folks need support, and y'all operate almost completely on donations and giving and local support. So if you like wine or beer or just hanging out with a bunch of cool people in an absolutely gorgeous venue, go on the Circle of Hope website. Again, it is circleofhopeinc.org. Get your tickets for Vine to Wine next Saturday, the 16th, and come out and enjoy us. Allison Lindeman, chairwoman of the board of Circle of Hope, entrepreneur, digital solutions dynamo, philanthropist, all around great community member. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Look forward to seeing you next weekend, March 16th at Vine to Wine. And why don't you join us too? It's going to be a great time. Get your tickets at circleofhopeinc.org. We will see you there. I am Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We'll be right back on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I want to thank my previous guest again, Allison Lindeman. She was here from Circle of Hope, and they're promoting their annual Vine to Wine event. You know, I'm actually going to be heading out there for my first time, but I've heard from folks that have been there year after year that say it's just an absolutely amazing event. So again, if you want to get out there and taste a little wine and wander around the country club, it's going to be a gorgeous day. Go to circleofhopeinc.org to get your tickets and join me, won't you? So let's go ahead and take a look at the holidays. Why don't we look at those holidays? I love the holidays, major holidays, minor holidays, from Easter to Egg Roll Day. I love them all. So let's see what we're celebrating today. Today is March 8th. Happy March 8th. Well, gosh. Minor holidays on the calendar for March 8th. Goody. It is National Organ Day. Not organ like your pancreas and your liver, but Oregon, the state. Nah. Today is National Proofreading. Seriously, there's a National Proofreading Day? How do you celebrate that? You correct your friends. Pass. Today is also National Peanut Cluster Day. Okay. Whatever. We can do better. I tell you what, today is March 8th. It's still a great day. It's Friday, so we're still celebrating. But why don't we look at today in history? Today is March 8th, 2024. On March 8th in 1917, the February Revolution erupted in Russia due to food shortages, sparking riots and strikes in Petrograd. This led to the abdication of Nicholas II, the Tsar, marking the end of centuries of Tsarist rule. The revolution was fueled by widespread discontent with the corrupt government, economic backwardness, and Russia's disastrous involvement in World War II. Moderates and radicals alike called for the overthrow of the Tsar. Demonstrators flooded the streets, clashing with police and prompting troops to be called in. However, the soldiers eventually defected to the side of the demonstrators because, they didn't have anything to eat either. The Duma formed a provisional government while the Petrograd Soviet vied for control. Ultimately, Nicholas II, as I said, abdicated, ending the Tsarist autocracy. The new government faced the daunting task of salvaging the war effort and resolving domestic crisis, while Vladimir Lenin returned to take control of the Russian Revolution. Tell you what, only in Russia could the February riots start on March 8th. Go figure. On this date, in 1951, Martha Beck and Raymond Martinez Fernandez, known as the Lonely Hearts Killers, were executed in New York's Sing Sing prison. Gotta love that we're celebrating an execution. They targeted women through personal ads, claiming to seduce, rob, and murder them. While they boasted, they bragged about it, they boasted of killing up to 17 women, evidence suggests that there were only 4 victims. Ha! Take that. Beck, overweight and unattractive, met Fernandez through, not my words, she met Fernandez through a Lonely Hearts Club. Fernandez, a petty criminal with a belief in his power over women, convinced Beck to join him in his schemes. They posed as siblings, seducing and robbing older women, eventually leading them to murder some of them. Their downfall came when they killed a suspicious woman and her daughter in Michigan. Despite attempts to evade punishment, they were executed in the electric chair. Their story inspired the 1969 movie, The Honeymoon Killers. So, go ahead and check that one out if you'd like. On March 8th, 6 years later, in 1957, after Israel withdrew from occupied Egyptian territory, the Suez Canal reopened to international traffic. However, the canal was heavily littered with wreckage from the Suez Crisis, requiring weeks of cleanup by Egyptian and United Nations workers before larger ships could navigate it. Completed in 1869, the canal remained under British and French control for 88 years, serving as a crucial shipping route for Middle Eastern oil to Europe. In 1956, Egyptian President Nasser nationalized the canal, leading to conflict. Israel invaded again, followed by British and French troops. But under UN pressure, they withdrew. By December, Egypt regained control and reopened the canal to commercial shipping in March of 1957. It was closed again for 8 years after the Six-Day War, but reopened in 1975 after peace talks with Israel. The Suez Canal is still today one of the most important international trade routes in the world. We saw this just, a year or two ago when that one tanker sort of ran aground and blocked traffic in the canal, and it delayed supply lines for, over a month, I believe. So, golly. On this date, March 8th, 1965, The U.S. Marines landed in Da Nang, Vietnam. The USS Henrico, USS Union, and USS Vancouver, carrying the 9th Marine Expeditionary Brigade, led by Brigadier General Frederick Karch, stationed 4,000 yards off Red Beach 2, north of Da Nang. Battalion Landing Team 39 was the first ashore at 8:15 a.m., greeted by a spectacle including sightseers, South Vietnamese officers, and welcoming signs. General William Westmoreland was reportedly appalled by the fanfare, preferring a low-key landing. We were supposed to kind of sneak these 4,000 Marines on there. We wanted to sort of avoid escalation or spiraling down into war with North Vietnam. South Vietnam had reached out to us for a little bit of help. Sure, we'll send you a few thousand Marines, but you weren't supposed to be there with your vuvuzelas. But within hours, Battalion Landing Team 13 began landing at Da Nang Air Base. The 3,500 Marines aimed to secure the U.S. Air Base, allowing South Vietnamese troops to focus on their combat with the North. The deployment followed Ambassador Maxwell Taylor's notification to South Vietnamese Premier Phan Huy Quat and a formal request submitted by the U.S. Embassy. Despite requests for an inconspicuous landing, like I mentioned, the Marines were welcomed with enthusiasm upon arrival. And as we all know, things went great from there, he said sarcastically. On March 8th, 1971, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier faced off in the fight of the century, as it was called, at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The bout marked Muhammad Ali's return to the marquee after the Boxing Commission had revoked his license over his refusal to fight in the Vietnam War. He said he wasn't going to fight, and so they stopped letting him fight. It was also his chance to reclaim the heavyweight championship that had been stripped by the WBA. Both Ali and Frazier were undefeated Olympic gold medalists with contrasting personalities. Ali, known for his showmanship and media mastery, painted Frazier as an Uncle Tom to undermine him. Celebrities filled the arena. Frank Sinatra, photographing for Life magazine. Wow, Frank Sinatra being a photographer for Life magazine. Interesting. The fight was highly anticipated, with most cheering for Ali. Despite his initial dominance, Ali's initial dominance, Frazier's punches had more of an impact. Frazier won by unanimous decision, handing Ali his first loss ever. They would fight twice more, with Ali winning both times. The rivalry remained intense, with Frazier expressing regret at not punishing Ali when he lit the Olympic flame in 1996. Interesting, but that's a long-running rivalry. And on March 8th, 1983, President Ronald Reagan addressed the National Association of Evangelicals in Florida, publicly referring to the Soviet Union as the now famous evil empire. This is not actually the first time he called them the evil empire. It was the second in his career. He first used the phrase in a 1982 speech at the British House of Commons, although this one was much more attended to. Reagan's aggressive stance toward the Soviet Union became known as the Reagan Doctrine, advocating for a peace through strength policy and active intervention against communist expansion. This included increasing U.S. military spending and supporting anti-communist groups in Nicaragua and Afghanistan. Reagan reassured Americans of his pursuit of peace while opposing totalitarian powers. His doctrine coincided with a surge in protests against the U.S.-Soviet arms race, with critics blaming Reagan's policy for increasing military spending and swelling of the budget deficit. Ultimately, the Soviet economy collapsed in the 1980s, leading to the end of communist rule in Russia and Eastern Europe. Reagan and his supporters credited his anti-communist policies for that outcome, while economists pointed to factors such as bloated defense spending and the war in Afghanistan. And, well, gosh, just a quick glance at this one, because we're running out of time. On this date in 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members, lost contact with air traffic control and just disappeared. That's right. A flight of over 200 people just absolutely disappeared. Still a mystery today. Lots of people have some thoughts. There was some debris that washed up on shore around the world, but it disappeared today in 2014. And that's this day in history, March 8th. When we get back, we've got the directors of SCVi joining me on how their school offerings are growing in 2024. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead Schools Eye on the Valley. And boy, do I have egg on my face. I was talking last break about kind of the lackluster major and minor holidays that we're celebrating and how it was kind of a meh day celebrating National Organ Day, National Proofreading Day, National Peanut Cluster Day. But Engineer Andrew reminded me that today is International Women's Day. So sorry, ladies. Sorry about that. We do want to celebrate you indeed. Engineer Jen, happy International Women's Day, and to you and the rest of the 49.6% of the population out there. Happy International Women's Day. Joining me now is an amazing woman and her partner, Martha Spansel-Pillico and Chad Powell. I'm talking about the administration team, the co-directors at SCVi Charter School, located just off of Newhall Ranch Road and the 5 Freeway. Martha Spansel-Pillico earned her bachelor's degree in English and secondary teaching credential from the Master's College and her master's degree in educational leadership and her administrative credential from the University of Laverne. She's got over 17 years experience in school administration and all of her 23 years of education experience here at local schools in Santa Clarita. And her partner, Chad Powell, earned his bachelor's degree in teaching credential from Fresno State and his master's degree and admin credential from Cal State Northridge. And like Martha, he's served at local schools for over 20 years with extensive administrative experience, and the two of them comprise the powerhouse team that is the leadership at SCVi. Martha, Chad, welcome back to Eye on the Valley.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, Matt, thank you.
Glad to have you both. So the two of you came to SCVi really at a pivotal time, and I don't know that any of us realized how much of a struggle getting through the pandemic was going to be. But can you explain to our listeners how each of you came to work for SCVi?
Yeah, Mark and I previously worked together as assistant principals at Valencia High School, and so we knew each other. And when we were approached by the iLead organization for taking the helm at SCVi, we both had reached out to each other thinking that this could be exactly the kind of thing that we had spoke previously about on how we wanted to change the model of administration and be more team-oriented in how we approached. We also saw that SCVi was kindergarten through 12th grade, but the different sections operated a bit like independent schools. And we saw that we could get a little bit of economy of scale by looking at it as a K-12 and working that direction. So all the pieces really just fell together. We came over. It's a tough time in education right after the pandemic. That was the same in the district schools as well as SCVi, but I'm proud of the way our team is pulled together.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, as we mentioned, you both have experience teaching and in administration at the local district schools, and now you've been with SCVi for a few years. So, what makes working at SCVi different than the traditional neighborhood schools? I guess both as an administrator and then what you've been able to observe in teachers as well. What makes SCVi different?
Well, I think the thing I appreciate most about SCVi and what it's very different from the school districts is the schools that we were working at had, thousands of kids. Here we have, a fair amount of kids, but it's TK through 12. And so you really get to know each of the learners individually, and you get to know them as people, and you get to know their families. So there is a sense of community around SCVi that I really appreciate, and I don't think it exists in the same way it does in the community schools exists here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that feeling. There's kind of a feeling of kind of like an entrepreneurial startup kind of feeling where I feel like our teachers, are very invested in the mission of what we're doing here. No one comes to iLead accidentally.
Yeah.
They're all seeking out something different, and I like that feel. And because we're smaller, we can really individualize our attention on the kids.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think you both know I taught a while back at SCVi, and as a teacher, I really appreciated kind of the autonomy that I had to do what I knew was right by kids as I built my projects. In fact, SCVi focuses on project-based learning. Can you tell our listeners why this is beneficial? Why is it that SCVi has chosen to really be on the forefront of project-based learning these last 16 years?
Yeah, I think the rest of the educational world is slowly catching up with an acknowledgement of the importance of projects. And that gives us a tremendous advantage that for over a decade and a half, we've already been developing these sort of things. Projects really, they really align with how kids naturally learn, and they align with how we do work. There's very few people out in the world that work completely independently without any assistance from other people. Being able to follow your curiosity, to answer an interesting real-world problem, to create a project, and at the end of that project, you're presenting that project to other people with real community links. This is exactly the kind of 21st century skills that we need in Santa Clarita, and that our learners are going to be well placed in their post-secondary pursuit, having spent years developing these skills.
Right, and they also research shows that the learning is deeper through project-based learning.
Yeah, I've seen our kids as a result of project-based learning, how they don't just become marketable, they become leaders, they become entrepreneurs, really comfortable in their own skin, interacting with others. It really is powerful. And some of the projects that y'all are rolling out are just absolutely incredible, so that families can kind of get a feel for what we're talking about. Can you share some of the projects that you've seen during your time at SCVi?
Yes, absolutely. The projects, like you mentioned, the projects have shown such thought and such collaboration that you don't typically see with kids as early as kindergarten. One of the lanes, though, that we really want to have SCVi dive into is aerospace. And kindergarten through 8th grade, all of our grade levels this year have had at least one fully dedicated and thought out and developed project on aerospace. Everything from biomimicry, where our first and second graders were studying birds and other flying creatures to try to understand how that turned into engineering for aircraft, all the way up through 8th grade with our glider project, where kids actually at the end of that have to be flying gliders. Wow. And this is all designed to support our new CTE pathway in aerospace at the high school.
We were talking about that on the show just a couple of weeks ago. Gosh, super exciting. Your second graders are doing biomimicry. That's crazy. What's your second grader doing? So project-based learning, it's just really building the leaders there at SCVi, but you also focus on social-emotional learning. Can you explain, I know a lot of folks have heard about that. Can you explain why that's important that we work with, I guess, the entirety of our young people?
Yeah, social emotional learning is really one of our key, cornerstones, because it's the foundation of all learning. If learners aren't ready to learn and they're not in a place emotionally where they can learn, then the learning won't happen. So it's one of the foundational things that we do. And what we do is we really teach our kids to regulate their emotions, to learn different coping skills when they need it, and basically learn the interpersonal skills to be able to relate and speak to their peers and to other people. We deliver that primarily in our morning meeting time and our advisories in the high school.
Okay, so kind of learning to manage themselves, manage others, deal with the multifaceted life that we deal with. It's important that we teach the whole child. So you've got PBL, SEL, talking about project-based learning, social emotional learning, and those kind of converge together to build what you all refer to as individualized learning. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about SCVi's approach to individualized learning and why that's so important?
Right, I think this is, as important as project-based learning and social emotional learning is. I think it's our individualized approach with kids that draws most of the attention and is most important to our families. Our school is small enough that it would be extremely difficult for any particular student to drop through the cracks, right. Which is always a concern for parents, and they're sending their child to such large other schools. Part of our process of working with kids is that they all develop an individualized learning plan. And so they present that plan to their parents. They present it in the fall of what they want to do, and they come back again in the spring, and they see how they've done. There's academic and social emotional goals on there. What's important is that it's the individual student who sets that plan in support with the teacher, and then presents that plan back to the parent. And all year long, that child and their teacher are working towards achieving that particular individualized plan or developing it.
So those are our philosophies: project-based learning, social emotional learning, individualized learning. Those are our philosophies. Let's talk about some of the specific programs, because I love how responsive the two of you are, and your entire staff really, to the community and what your families are looking for in an education. You have programs kind of like a school within a school. Can you share with us about some of those unique programs that you offer at SCVi?
One of the programs that we're really proud of here at SCVi is our dual language immersion program, and that goes from kindergarten all the way through 5th grade right now. It is taught by visiting teachers from Spain who come over and help our learners learn Spanish along with their curriculum in English. So it's a standards-based curriculum that they would receive at any of the local schools, any of the public schools, as well as learning Spanish at the same time.
Yeah, it's such a great program. I think it helps lean into the little I in SCVi, where it's international, where not only are they learning language, but they're also learning about a different culture from someone who grew up and is a professional teacher within that culture. We also, at our high school level, there's two programs that I think are they complement each other. Our international baccalaureate program, again with this international mindset, this is similar in some ways to AP in that our students are taking classes that are college level or in rigor, and they're also able to get those GPA bumps up in that, as well as our career technical education pathways. These are set up where when our students graduate, they're actually going to their post-secondary, choices, whether it's college or straight out into the workforce, with some marketable skills. We have 3 pathways in art, and we're developing a STEM pathway in aviation. And so we're excited how all that's working together.
I love that. Yeah, you guys have such a heavy focus on art and building career pathways for your kids in the arts, both visual and performing arts. And then you're building, gosh, what a perfect place for it, building an aerospace pathway right here, located so closely to Edwards Air Force Base, and of course, Los Angeles and the West Coast, well known for their aerospace industry. Santa Clarita, I think folks sleep on Santa Clarita and how many aerospace companies we have in town. So preparing kids for those high-skilled, high-paid jobs for the future. Martha Spansel-Pillico and Chad Powell, the administration team at SCVi Charter School, joined me this morning. When we get back, Chad and Martha, some new opportunities that you're offering learners, because I know the governor is cutting the budget pretty drastically for education, and that's forcing schools across the state to cut the programs they offer, but not you guys. You're expanding next year. I want to hear all about it when we get back. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. The directors of SCVi Charter School, Martha Spansel-Pillico and Chad Powell, joined me this morning. SCVi is your free public charter school in Santa Clarita. That's right. We are a public school completely free of charge, but your choice, your option, TK through 12th grade here in Santa Clarita. Now, Chad and Martha, I mentioned, you mentioned actually that you're expanding career pathways for the 2024-2025 school year, right? So you mentioned the aerospace pathway. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what that's going to look like, what kind of offerings you're developing for your kids?
Yeah, this is exciting. In fact, we just hired our teacher for the program. He is excited to come on board. He is a graduate with a degree in astrophysics, and even with something that is as out there as that, he's already proven that he can connect with kids. He has 8 years of teaching experience working with kids. And so he is going to be working with us to design out this CTE pathway. It's going to involve elements of drones. It's going to have elements of piloting. It's going to connect closely to our glider project from 8th grade, and we'll hopefully connect in with our award-winning robotics team at the high school, so we can bring all those things together. But what we hope really is that when our high school students finish that pathway, they're going to have community connections with industry. They'll have some certifications to where that can allow them to get into competitive engineering programs or go straight into the aviation industry.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, like the government cutting the budget, we were able to get a grant for this new program, which we're very excited about.
Yeah, that is exciting. When that door closes, a window opens. So excited that not only have you found excellent, highly qualified staff to guide this program, but the funding to carry it along. So, what an amazing opportunity for our community and for the students at SCVi. And as you mentioned, I love that you build it starting in kindergarten, right? Kids are going through different aerospace projects, all aligned with state standards, of course, culminating in this new pathway that you're offering in aerospace. So I can't help but think there are families out there thinking, I didn't realize that we had such an amazing charter school in town. Certainly didn't realize that it's a free public school. So how can families who are listening enroll?
Easy. Go online to ileadsantaclarita.org, which is our website. You can find more information about our school, but at the very top, there is a enrollment application or enroll now button that they can press, which leads them to the application process. At the top, there's also a little thing that says schedule tours, and we'd love to have you come on by and see the place.
Yeah, the first Tuesday and third Thursday of every month at 9:30, we're giving public tours. And we'll also give private tours if those times don't work out.
Gosh, I love that families are actually able to walk in and out of your different classrooms and sort of see how that educational sausage is made at SCVi. That is fantastic. So, again, you said the website is ileadsantaclarita.org. I got to tell you, I'm a little bit lazy with my fingers on the keyboard. I just Google SCVi. You guys are the top hit.
Good.
And that works too.
And that takes me right to the website. And you have the Enroll Now button. I do notice that there's an enrollment lottery. Is there still time for families? Because you can't necessarily take all comers, but you're not allowed to cherry pick. That is the charter school law. So you have to have an enrollment lottery. When is the deadline? Can families still get into your enrollment lottery for next year?
Oh, they absolutely can, but it's coming up fast. So our enrollment deadline is March 20th to get into the lottery. All
right, so less than 2 weeks. That is coming up quick. And now you're hosting tours to let families get familiar with the school. I would encourage people to submit their application to get in for that March 20th lottery deadline. And then if you don't have time for a tour, you can take a tour later. You also hosted an open house on Wednesday night. I wasn't able to make it, but how did that go?
No, we had a great time. We had a good turnout despite the rain.
Yeah.
We got to see the parents got to see a lot of exciting projects, especially in the 1-2. They had their presentation of learning. So there was a flight. There were a lot of flight activities. They had paper airplanes that they made with their parents. They had contests, and they got to see a lot of their projects. And then our 3-4s were doing an airport project. So the learners got to explain those to their parents and why they chose the airport that they chose.
And both Martha and I got to catch these giant foam rings that our robot Buford was swinging around as a demonstration of their competition, and so that was a fun time up at the high school as well.
That is fun. You know, I want to talk about that in just a second, but I also, a little bird is telling me that not only do you have the tours and, you know, you held the open house on Wednesday, you've also got virtual information sessions for folks that, oh gosh, I don't know, don't want to go out in the rain if it's raining or right. It's just really convenient. Can you tell us more about the virtual info sessions?
Yeah, those are easy. We'll have the link posted, put it out there, and it's just an opportunity for Martha and I, as well as some other guest speakers that we have on there, to talk about the school, the advantages. We can get very specific on our programs. We can tailor it exactly because it's real time with parents on what questions that they might have, and that's going to be it's coming up on the 27th.
And the 19th.
Oh, and the 19th. Yeah, so we have 2 that are coming up. And even if, you know, the 19th puts you in just in time to get into the lottery, but the 27th is valuable too because even if it's after the lottery, we could still potentially put some people on our wait list.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And so March 19th, like you said, perfect time to sign up for the lottery, day before the enrollment lottery. And again, I would encourage families, if you're intrigued, go ahead and fill out that application. Get your name, your child's name into the lottery. If you're not able to attend the March 19th virtual session, you can attend the one on, Martha, did you say the 27th? And you
Correct.
Can get some information there and continue forward. So, Chad, you mentioned something kind of cool. There's been so much happening at SCVi. It was kind of hard to kind of pack everything in here to my questions. You mentioned Buford. Tell us again, who is Buford and what's going on with Buford?
Yeah, Buford has become a local celebrity around here. He is the high school robotics club. He's part of he's a competition robot that they designed and built. And just recently up in, I think it was in San Luis? Just recently, we watched some of his streaming. I went to a big competition where teams from all over the state came to compete. This was our first year competing, and our team did extremely well. We won a 3D printer, beat out many more experienced teams. Some of the obstacle courses they had to go through involved having to design a program that can suck up these orange rings and then launch them into a certain area. But Buford has made the rounds at the lower school. Our second graders and kindergartners, they love to see Buford come in and perform. He's surprisingly fast. And we're just really proud of, our team, Miss Lynn at the high school. She's been the advisor of the team, and they did just such a great job this year.
Oh, fantastic. That is so cool. And it's not just the high school where amazing things are happening. Your 8th graders also have a really exciting event coming up on the 13th and 14th. It's funny, anytime I tell my friends about this, they always pause and go, wait, what are your 8th graders doing? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it is really amazing. So they're going to be, what they've been doing in the classes, they've been learning a lot about flight, and through the lens, like, how it's done, the scientific pieces of flight and math, the flight math. So they've been learning a lot of the academic pieces to prepare them to actually go out to Tehachapi and pilot a glider. We're going to have the glider here on campus next Friday, and it's open to the public to be able to see it in the afternoon from 12 to 1. But it's a really exciting time, so they spend a good amount of time in the classroom learning the academics and those pieces of flying the glider, and then they actually practically get to go fly it over the weekend.
Yeah, it is such a fun activity. At open house, some of the 8th graders were in our flight simulator, flying the glider in that way, getting ready for that time up in the glider. I got a chance to go up last year in it, and probably not many people have had the opportunity to fly in a glider, and it's phenomenal. It is an amazing thing. And we hope what that does is just really encourages our 8th graders to continue on with our aviation program. And I know we've been talking a lot about aviation and aerospace, but like you mentioned, Matt, all of these projects are tied to state standards.
Yep.
This also ties into our social emotional learning, our English curriculum, our writing. Our kids really do get a well-rounded education, but we do want to be the premier school in this lane in the Valley.
Yeah, definitely, and it is an exciting experience, and you know, it just brings the curriculum alive, right? Like you said, the kids are learning the state standards. They're doing it through exciting projects like this. Sure, you've had a good number of kids get excited about piloting, go on and actually get their pilot's license. Some of them are even working in the industry today, but it is just a phenomenal experience that really brings the education to life. You know, I've also been reading in the press a little bit about your seniors. Your seniors have been getting some amazing offers. It is college acceptance time, and so folks are starting to get notifications and things like that. I understand you've got a couple of things to celebrate with our listeners. Can you share that?
Sure. So just in this past couple weeks, we have had 3 learners get accepted to Hofstra University, Maryville University, and the University of San Francisco. But not only just get accepted, get scholarships of north of $100,000 each.
Whoa.
So it's very exciting.
Wow, that is exciting, yeah. And we're talking about, I think, in most cases, academic scholarships, kids that are just killing it at SCVi,
yeah,
and getting school paid for at some of the elite and most sought after universities out there. That is really exciting. You've also got quite a bit of athletic prowess there on campus. Talking about your middle school volleyball team, can you tell us a little bit about what they accomplished recently?
That was exciting. Yeah, they won the championship. They were able to win it in 2 games. They came back from they won the first game in a decisive way. They almost lost the second game. The team rallied, came from behind, won that second game, bringing home that girls' middle school championship. We got the chance to visit with them. They presented us the trophy, which is always, I think, very funny because they did the work, but they presented us the trophy. But we were happy to accept it, got some pictures. It was an exciting time. I'd like to especially thank Donna Wood, who is their coach. She works a lot with these girls. And the best thing about it, though, is that aside from winning the championship, this group of students became very tight-knit. They learned to support each other, and that's really the point of our athletics program anyway.
Way to go, Stallions. Good job. All right. And then you've also got an event coming up on March 14th. Can you tell us about Pie Night?
Yeah, it's an exciting night. It's a math night geared towards fun math activities, interactive math activities that our learners can do with their parents. It's over in the theater, and it's an all-school event, so there's math activities for our TKers all the way up through seniors, and they're fun, interactive, and we're also you can get some pie and some pizza for dinner as well.
Yeah, a little pizza pie. And I would encourage anyone, even if you don't have to be an SCVi student to come to this event. We would encourage everyone to come to this event, especially if you have a student that just is struggling in math or doesn't see that it's relevant or why do I need to know this. These math activities, these math crafts, they're fun. It can fire up anyone to appreciate math more, whether you're a student at SCVi or not.
I love that it's open to the public. So check this out. If you've got a kid going into anywhere from TK, 4 years old, through their senior year in high school, because SCVi is TK through 12th grade, you've got all these great events coming up. If you're not sure about whether or not you want to enroll, March 14th, get out to Pie Night, 5 p.m. at SCVi, and then maybe sign up for that virtual information night on March 19th, the night before our enrollment lottery. You can also schedule a tour on the website, ileadsantaclarita.org, or just Google SCVi like I do because I'm lazy. and check it out. You can get into the classrooms. You can see some of the events. You can hear all about it. Get your questions answered, and then, like I said, enroll for that enrollment lottery happening on March 20th. Sign up today by going to ileadsantaclarita.org. Martha Spansel-Pillico, Chad Powell, directors of SCVi Charter School. You're free. Yes, free. I have to say it a lot of times, guys, because people still think that there's tuition involved. It's not. It's a free public charter school right here in Santa Clarita, open for enrollment for students TK through 12th grade, dual language immersion, international baccalaureate studies, extensive visual and performing arts programs. So much going on at SCVi. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing with our audience today.
Hey, thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great weekend. This is SCVi, and I lead School's Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson. Y'all stick around. Big T's calling in. He's got some goofiness and some trivia for us. This is your hometown station, KHTS. Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi, and I lead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and I am joined on the camera side of the counter by Engineer Andrew. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing great.
And Engineer Jen, I think this is your first time on this side of the counter.
It is. I like it.
All righty. Looking good. Okay, it is now time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. Y'all know Big T. Big T is an executive and philanthropist. He's an amazing father, husband, and community leader. He's a world traveler. Hey, he's Big T, so go big or go home. Here he is, everybody. He's Mom's favorite. Big T, welcome to the show.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona today.
Phoenix, Arizona. Fantastic. A little bit warmer in Phoenix than it is in Central Washington, I guess.
Yes, it is. Hey, do you want to know where Camelback Ranch is?
Who's back?
Camelback.
Where is it?
It's right over there.
All right, check it out. Sweet. All right, so here's the deal. Andrew, Jen, and I are going to be we're going to be goofing off. We're going to be playing. We've got our buzzers here. We're gonna hit our buzzers if so. T's got trivia questions, and so we're going to call out our name. Don't forget to shout out your name. Don't be shouting out the answer because I'll steal it from you.
Oh, I've done that once or twice.
Yes,
before.
I know you have. I know you have, and I'll take that point. Although you at home, you've got a significant competitive advantage. You don't have to hit your buzzer. So when you know the answer, just call it out and see if you can beat us. But I don't think you're going to be able to do it because the three of us, like Ben Affleck in that movie, we're wicked smart.
Wicked sure. Smart. Yeah.
Wicked
How
smart.
about them apples?
All right, Big T, what have you got for us?
Well, yesterday, man, I was kind of perusing around town and I got yelled at Safeway. I was sitting in their break room having a cup of coffee and they said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm on break." They said, "You don't work here?" I said, "I just used the self-checkout, so technically I do."
There we go. I love it.
It's not wrong.
And this would be an approved message by the union, yeah.
Yes, it would. I'm entitled to my breaks.
Yes, you are.
Hey, when Big T takes a break, you all got to come looking for me. I'm on break.
Right? Normally you'll find him passed out in the corner of the break room with an empty box of Kula-Koos.
There you go. There you go. All right, we ready to roll?
We're ready.
Hands on your buzzer. What color is Mickey Mouse's shorts?
Andrew.
Jen.
Oh, I heard Andrew
I think
first.
we got Andrew.
Okay. Yeah.
Andrew, sorry.
Red?
They are red.
Right.
That is correct. Hey, Maddie, you heard about Mickey and Minnie, didn't you?
I did. They broke up, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so. It's so sad.
Why did they break up, Tony?
What's the name of the crab in Little Mermaid? We'll get to that later.
Jen.
Jen.
Jen, Sebastian.
Sebastian is correct. What city is referred to as Sin City?
Andrew.
Jen.
Andrew.
That would be Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
I thought it was Gomorrah.
What city is referred to as the Windy City?
Jen.
Andrew.
I think I heard Frogger first.
You did.
That would be Chicago.
Chicago, Chi-Town. What's a baby kangaroo called?
Andrew.
Ooh.
Andrew.
Hey, Joey.
Joey is correct. What's a baby goat called?
Frogger.
Frogger.
It's a kid, isn't it?
That's a kid. We would have accepted Billy, but kid is correct.
All right,
Oh,
Billy the Kid.
fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the only mammal that can fly?
Frogger.
No, you can't. You are not a flying toy.
I did try once or
Frogger,
twice
go
off a picnic table at the beach.
Didn't end well.
I think it's a bat, isn't it?
It is a bat. Holy cow, you just brought back some flashbacks. Are you doing belly flops off the picnic table in the sand? Holy cow. What's the world's tallest mountain?
Frogger. Mount Everest.
Mount Everest is correct. What's the square root of 144?
Andrew. 12.
12 is correct.
What's with the math, man?
Wow.
Cut it out.
Math guy over here.
Yeah, you got to know there's some math in here. What is 2 cubed or 2 to the third power?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Isn't 8?
That is an 8. Y'all really ought to let Frogger chime in on these math questions first. It's a lot more entertaining.
You know, I'm good, man. I taught 4th grade math, but I did not learn it.
That's where it ends, yeah.
Who's the lead character in Hunger Games?
Frogger.
Jen.
Andrew.
Oh, we're going to have to go
was
to the
that Andrew
judges on
first?
that one.
No,
I don't
we'll go Frogger.
Was it me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was it Frogger? Okay.
I think it's Katniss Everdeen.
Katniss Everdeen is correct.
All right.
What country is the Taj Mahal located in?
Frogger.
Jen.
Frogger.
India.
India is correct.
Right.
What does a fire need to keep it going?
Jen.
Oh.
Jen.
Oxygen.
Oxygen, correct. Nice pull.
First one, say water. But no.
If you're a banana slug, what?
Engineer Andrew was going with water.
Water.
That's not it.
Gasoline.
If you're a banana slug, what college did you attend?
Andrew.
Oh,
What?
Andrew.
UC Santa Cruz.
UC Santa Cruz is correct. Nice pull, Andrew.
but it took you a while to get there.
What
There it is.
nickname was given to African-American soldier regiments in the U.S. Army after the Civil War?
Frogger.
Andrew.
Frogger.
Buffalo Soldiers.
Reggae Rasta. Buffalo Soldiers. Who's the top-selling rapper of all time?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Oh, I thought that was me.
Yeah, right. Engineer Andrew.
On the ones and twos.
I'd go with Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is incorrect.
Oh,
I think he's like 6th on the list.
Frogger.
Frogger.
I'm going to go Eminem.
Eminem is correct.
Ooh.
Almost twice as many albums as Tupac.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. That's why a million other white rappers emerge.
Hey.
That's why Jack Harlow is here, right?
Right?
Yeah, really. You're welcome.
What country is Shakira from?
Jen.
Frogger.
Jen.
Colombia.
Colombia, yes.
La, 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 la.
What's the hardest natural substance in the world?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Diamond.
A diamond is correct. What's the hardest substance in the human body?
Frogger.
Jen.
Frogger.
My liver.
Okay,
Not anymore.
Bone.
Incorrect.
Oh, that was going to be my guess.
Oh.
Your nails? No.
Incorrect. Andrew, you got anything?
Oh, let's go with teeth.
We'll give it to you. Tooth enamel.
All right.
Tooth enamel. All right. Look at that. Found it. I like it.
How many chambers are there in the human heart?
Jen.
Jen?
4.
4 is correct. Frogger, this one's for you. What's the smallest prime number?
Frogger.
I'll just give it.
So, prime.
And then
I don't think. Okay, I'm going to go with 3.
Math genius over here.
Incorrect.
Let's go with 1.
Incorrect.
What? Oh,
Hey, Jen, split
I
the
was gonna go
difference.
with prime.
Jen.
Okay.
Jen.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Do it anyways.
1.5?
It is.
Split the difference
It is
between
2.
1 and 3, and you go with 1.5.
Well, 2 is a prime number.
I think
Yeah,
it's the
2 is a prime number.
Okay.
Well, that's my answer, too.
That's my answer.
Jen, let's just say you were halfway there.
I was.
I'm giving you half a point on that one,
I'll
Jen.
take it. That's fine. Let's cut that one in half.
Awful.
The rails are coming off the boat.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And we still got 6 more minutes, Big T.
Big T's almost out of questions.
Yeah, I know.
We'll make it work. You hear me breathing heavy, right?
Well, you know, if you run out of questions, let me know. We'll talk about New Jersey high school basketball.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
How many degrees are there in a circle?
Andrew.
Oh,
Andrew.
360.
360 is correct. What is a triangle with 3 unequal sides called?
Frogger.
Frogger.
It's not scalene. So I'm gonna go ridiculous. A ridiculous triangle.
No.
No, it's not. Anybody else want to go with his first answer?
Let's go with scalene.
It is scalene. Good pull, Andrew.
Does anybody want to buzz in and say the correct answer?
You don't get it though? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I said it wasn't.
Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
What comes after million, billion, and trillion?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Brazilian. No. Quadrillion.
Quadrillion is correct.
All right.
What's the top number of a fraction called?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That's the numerator.
Anybody want to guess the next answer?
Jen.
Andrew.
Andrew, Jen?
The denominator.
No.
Right?
Numerator is correct, but you want to guess the answer of the next question before I ask the question?
Yeah, go.
Oh, I thought you meant what's the number on the bottom. Okay.
Yeah.
So go for
Okay.
it.
Denominator.
Denominator is
Okay,
correct. What's the number on the
hey.
And
bottom of
since
the
he never
fraction
threw the
called?
question, I'm going to give you that other half point
What is
back.
happening? Yeah.
We got you at 6 points now, Jen. Way to go.
Let's cut that in half.
What's another name for the perimeter of a circle?
Frogger.
Frogger.
That's the circumference.
Circumference is correct. What degree is a right angle?
Andrew.
Killing me.
Andrew.
90.
90 degrees is correct.
I was going master's degree.
How many pints are there in a gallon?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Geesh. 8.
8 is correct.
Woo!
How many pints are there in a quart?
Andrew.
Andrew.
4. Let's go with 4. Yes.
Incorrect.
Me too.
Frogger.
Frogger.
2.
2 is correct. All right, Frogger, here's a math question you can get. What are the 3 ingredients in a white Russian?
All right. So we got vodka, we got Kahlua, and ice.
Incorrect, Jen or Andrew?
Andrew, would it be either whatever type of milk you use?
Like a cream.
We'll give that to you.
Milk?
Vodka, Kahlua, and milk.
Yeah.
All right. Big T, we got time for 2 more real quick questions.
All right. What's the national dish of Spain?
A Frogger.
Frogger.
Paella.
Paella is correct. Which bone are babies born without?
Oh. Frogger.
Frogger.
A funny bone. Those cats don't know any jokes.
Anybody? It's a kneecap.
Oh, yes.
They're born without
All
kneecaps.
right, one more,
Yeah,
man.
they grow together later.
Get out.
They like fuse together. Yeah.
Crazy. All right, we got time for one more, T.
Where are 75% of the world's pineapples grown?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
All righty. And with that, I take
Don't
it.
tell me you took it with that one.
Hey, well, not with that one. I got you by a couple, Andrew. But good showing, both of you. Way to go. Big T, thanks so much. We do have to wrap it up. We'd also like to thank our guests, Chairwoman of the Board of Circle of Hope, Allison Lindemann. Check out their Vine to Wine event on circleofhopeinc.org. Chad Powell and Martha Spansel-Pillico, co-directors of SCVi. Check them out at ileadsantaclarita.org. Producer Sarah, engineer Jen, engineer Andrew, Big T, and thank you for listening. Remember, life is hard, but we're all here to help each other along. Be well and do good. And you know what? Join us again next week and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.